So he's saying Vasudeva is to be the purpose of all sacrifice is to come to Vasudeva, to please him. Then Vasudeva para yoga. So the first is Vasudeva para Veda is the speculative or the Gyan Marg. Then Vasudeva Paramakhe is sacrifice. So in all the yugas, if you see, even it can be explained in many ways. In different yuga, different processes were given for self-realization. But what is the purpose? The purpose is to come to the realization of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. So Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makhe, Vasudeva para Yoga, and Vasudeva para Kriya. So Kriya is basically action-based, karma-based. So whether it is by karma or it is by jnana or it is by meditative process, the purpose is to come to the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. So in a way, he is defining the Supreme Absolute Truth again in this verse. Who is Janmadiyasya yathā. And then what are the next four? Very simple.
Vasudeve param jnanam, Vasudeve param tapa, Vasudeva paro dharmo, Vasudeve param gatim.
So, what was the first question? What was the first question?
What is the ultimate good?
What is the ultimate good? So, what is the ultimate good? The ultimate good is paro dharma. Sabe pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshajay. एक सेकेंड, गीता का क्या हुआ मुझे नहीं पता. हरे कृष्णा. सारिका जी भी आई हुई हैं, लेकिन अब ये जा रही हैं और ये वादा करके नहीं जा रही कि ये संडे को आएंगी या नहीं आएंगी. अभी भी मुस्कुरा रही है, हाँ नहीं कर रही है. तो वासुदेव इस परो धर्मो, सवे पुंसा परो धर्मो. ऐसे याद करोगे तो कभी भूलेगा नहीं. क्या? इट इज बेस्ड ऑन आवर knowledge and understanding. So this Bhagavatam verse, I was reading few days back that where Prabhupada is saying that Bhagavatam is to be memorized. Whom did I share that? That Bhagavatam verses is to be memorized. Prabhupada is writing that Bhagavatam is meant to be memorized. How it is to be memorized? Based on understanding. So if we have the proper understanding, then we will be able to get this knowledge. So this knowledge is coming. So he is summarizing so far what he has spoken. Essentially, the first two questions have been answered. That what is the ultimate and the absolute good, and what is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures. So that has been answered in this verse 28th and 29th. So the essence and the object is both the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. Okay. अब बोलो, अब आप बोलिए सोनिका. Easily याद होगा अब आपको. You don't have to put so much of force on your memory.
Yes, Ravi.
Hare Krishna.
Vasudeva para yog, Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makhe, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva para Kriya, Vasudeva param jnanam, Vasudevam param tapa, Vasudeva paro dharmo, Vasudeva param gatim.
So param gatim is again both. He is the final goal and he is finally to be attained. One should get gati also. That is the final destination. So Sutta Goswami has answered the first two questions. And then are the third question. The third question is, why did Krishna appear? And why did he? What was the purpose? And why did he appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. So, but that is the Leela avatar. So before he can answer the Leela avatar, Krishna is performing Leela, what has to happen? Creation has to happen. So what was the next question? What was the fourth question? Boliye Ravindra Prabhu, what was the fourth question?
And the various Purusha avatars of Supreme.
So Purusha avatar means material creation. So first Krishna will answer the fourth question and then he will address the third question. Krishna does that. He does that in Bhagavad Gita also. Who remembers and where? Ramya is here and she knows the answer, but let me ask from others also. Where does Krishna does this? That he does not answer the question in chronology. He answers according to our understanding, how we can understand. Bolo, dredge your memory. Let them answer. Otherwise, I'll ask him. Manoram performed the joining. He would have come back. बोलो भाई बोलो उसको बहुत डिटेल में बताया था मैंने प्रभुज एंड मातास where Krishna does not answer in chronology as Arjuna asked the question, but Krishna answers to the extent that we can comprehend and understand. Our time will be over. At least I want to discuss 2 verses today. You don't remember, Priyanka? बोलो आप बताओ रम्या माता जी बोलेंगे but there is no question asked now. Arjuna has not asked. Yes, 13th chapter. What is the sequence? Arjuna is putting the questions. 13th question chapter. What is the sequence? Arjuna is asking question and how Krishna is replying. Prakriti purusham cheva kshetra kshetra janareva. Then jnanam gyeyam. So Krishna begins with, Krishna does not begin with Prakriti and Purusha. In fact, Prakriti and Purusha is answered in the rest of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna begins with Kshetra and Kshetragya. Unless and until we have the understanding of Kshetra and Kshetragya, we cannot understand Prakriti and Purush. So similarly here, we see that Krishna will answer about the Purusha avatars first. The 3 Purusha avatars. Okay. So we will take the 29th. We have taken 29th verse. We have done 29th.
Yes, bro.
Okay, 30th verse. The 29th verse is the same verse. One moment. This is the 30th verse. Saiva idam sasarjāgre bhagavān ātma-māyayā sad-asad-rūpayā cāsau guṇamayāguṇo vibhuḥ. So in the beginning of the material creation, the absolute personality of Godhead Vasudeva in his transcendental position created the energies of cause and effect by his own internal energy. So this is talking about creation. So this will be detailed further in the 2nd canto and the 3rd canto. This is the first subject matter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. What is the first subject matter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? It is called Sarga. Sarga. Sarga means creation. And then there is sub-creation. What Brahma does is Visarga. That is sub-creation. But before Brahma can do anything, Brahma has to be created. And before Brahma is created, this material cosmic manifestation has to take place. So for that, what the Supreme Lord Vasudeva does, he, by his own internal energy, he creates the cause and effect. That is called here sad and asad. Bhagavān ātma-māyayā. Ātma-māyayā means from his own internal energy. Krishna spoke that in the 4th chapter. Ajo-api san avyaya-atma. Bhutanam ishvaro-api san. So ātma-māyayā means from his internal potency, from his internal energy. What he creates, both the cause and effect for the material creation to take place. So the position, in the beginning, okay, we have done the translation. The position of the Lord is always transcendental because the cause and effectual energies required for the creation of the material world were also created by him. In the Janmadi verse, yathā, what is the Sanskrit word? What is the Sanskrit term used for this? That the cause and effect required for the creation of the material world were also created by him. What is the verse or what is the word that is more appropriate? What is the word? Very simple.
Anmayad-itarastas.
Very good. Anvayad-itarastas. Both he is directly and indirectly. So here it is being explained. But in very short, in brief, it will come more in detail in the further cantos. Sarga and Visarga, they will be elaborately explained in the 2nd and the 3rd canto, creation and the sub-creation. So Srila Prabhupada says the position of the Lord is always transcendental because the causal and the effectual energies required for the creation of the material world were also created by him. He is unaffected, therefore, by the qualities of the material mode. So the word is guṇamayāguṇo aguna, and he is vibhuḥ. So although this creation is within the 3 modes, but he is aguna, that he is beyond the mode. Why? Because he is the absolute vibhuḥ. So the same is being explained. He is unaffected, therefore, by the qualities of the material mode. His existence, form, activities, and paraphernalia all existed before the material creation. He is all spiritual and has nothing to do with the qualities of the material world, which are qualitatively distinct from the spiritual qualities of the Lord. Clear? Some extent, at least theoretically. At least we should be able to accept what Srila Sutta Goswami is explaining. It is beyond our intelligence level to understand. But how we will qualify to understand? By accepting and appreciating. That's all. This is what we can do. It has to be accepted, and when the acceptance is genuine, gradually appreciation will come. And if acceptance and appreciation is there, with Lord Krishna says, Tesham satajuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam ta. Then Krishna will bestow that spiritual intelligence. Then only we will know. So how it happens, it is explained in the next verse. Tayā vilasiteṣv eshu guṇeṣu guṇavān antaḥ-praviṣṭa bhāti vijñānena vijṛmbhitaḥ. So after creating the material, see, don't try to put your intelligence, it will fail. Just here. It is beyond human intelligence to understand the creation of the Creator. It requires very special spiritual mercy. After creating the material substance, the Lord Vasudeva expands himself and enters into it. So which Vishnu is this? Please understand here again. After creating the material substance, what is the material substance? Yes, Sonika?
Prabhuji, the universe.
Huh?
The universe where we are
Yeah, what is
residing.
it? Technical word. We have so many times discussed. Pradhan. Pradhan. After creating the material substance, the Lord Vasudeva expands himself and enters into it. So who is the first Vishnu? Yeah, boliye.
Prabhuji, Mahavishnu, and it enters at Garbhodak Sai Vishnu.
Yeah, first it is the Mahavishnu. Because see, try to understand, it is only the material substance which is inert. It is not in the manifest form. What it is unmanifest. So it is Pradhan. So when Mahavishnu enters in the Karnodakshai ocean and he reclines, and from him what comes is the glance on this material substance called Pradhan. So it is agitated by the three mode and creation begins. So it converts into Mahatattva. So it is only by the glance of Mahavishnu. And although he is within the material modes of nature and appears to be one of the created beings, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. The living entities are separated parts and parcels of the Lord, and the conditioned living entities who are unfit for the spiritual kingdom are tuned within the material world to enjoy matter to the fullest extent. So those who are unfit for the spiritual kingdom are tuned within this material world to enjoy matter to the fullest extent. As Paramatma, an eternal friend of the living entities, the Lord, by one of his plenary portion, accompanies the living entities to guide them in their material enjoyment. That is Paramatma. And to become witness to all activities. While the living entities enjoy the material conditions, the Lord maintains his transcendental position without being affected by the material atmosphere. In the Vedic literature Shruti, it is said that there are two birds in one tree. Anyone can recite the verse? Very beautiful verse from, it is quoted in Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada quotes it. That two birds are sitting on the same tree. One is the living entity and the other is the super soul. One of them is eating the fruit of the tree while the other is witnessing the actions. The witness is the Lord and the fruit eater is the living entity. The fruit eater living entity has forgotten his real identity and is overwhelmed in the fruitive actions of material conditions. But the Lord Paramatma is always full in transcendental knowledge. That is the difference between the super soul and the conditioned soul. Very beautiful verse. Very, very beautiful. It's the verse to memorize. It is there in the section of where Krishna is explaining the difference between spirit and matter. Samane vrikshe purusha nimagna. Anishya sochati muhyamanaya. Justam yada pashyati anyamishan. It is in 2.22. Open Bhagavad Gita 2.22. 2.22. Samane vrikshe purusha nimagna. Anishya sochati muhyamanaya. Justam yada pashyati anyamishan. And the final is iti vita shoka. Got it? Someone can display? Samane vikshe purusha nimagno anishya. Anishya means that he does not accept the superiority of the Supreme Lord. So he is Shochati and Kankshati and Muhyamanaya. He is always in illusion. Samana Viksha means in the same tree. And Purusha is the living entity. Purusha means the enjoyer. When the living entity takes the position of the false position of an enjoyer, so he is Anisha. He does not accept the authority or the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. So he is Shochati. He is always in the lamentable position. And he is always Muhyamana. He is always in illusion. What is the illusion? He is trying to be the enjoyer. He is trying to become the Purusha. He can never become the Purusha. And then Jastam Yada Pashyati Anyam Isha. But if he is able to understand this, that he is not the Isha, that is another Isha, Anyam Isha, that is the Supreme Lord. Asya Mahimanaya. So he comes to know the glory, Mahima of the Supreme Lord, Asya Mahimanaya, Iti Vita Shoka. So his lamentation is over for good. Okay. So Prabhupada is explaining that the super soul is there. So these three Vishnus, the Karnodakshai Vishnu, and then the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu, who is there in the heart of everyone. So this is how these are the Purusha avatar. It will be more detailed explained in subsequent cantos. So what should I take one more verse? It is just 9. The conditioned soul, the living entity, is controlled by the laws of nature. That is the difference between the super soul and the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul, the living entity, is controlled by the laws of nature, while the Paramatma or the super soul is the controller of the material energy. One is controlled and the other is the controller. So when the jiva tries to take the false position of the controller, he is put under the jurisdiction of the laws of material nature. Yathā hi avahito vahnir dāruṣv ekaḥ sva-yoniṣu nāneva bhāti viśvātmā bhūteṣu tathā pumān. The Lord as Super Soul pervades all things, just as the fire permeates woods. And so he appears to be of many varieties, though he is the absolute one without the second. So because he is diffused, he is there in the heart, in the nucleus of everyone. So he pervades all things. And Prabhupada, and here Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam gives the example of as the fire permeates the wood. So the wood is already containing fire. But what is required? It needs to catch fire from outside and it will become inflamed. So Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by one of his plenary parts, expands himself all over the material world, and his existence can be perceived even within the atomic energy. Matter, antimatter, protons, neutrons. In all these, one can perceive the manifestation of the Paramatma feature of the Lord by proper spiritual culture. Please note Prabhupada's word. Prabhupada is saying that all these one can perceive the manifestation of the Paramatma feature of the Lord by proper spiritual culture. What is the spiritual culture? What is the spiritual culture? आपने मनोरमा प्रभु को फोन किया? Yes, Sonika.
Prabhuji, all these can be known through Guru Parampara, through Pariprashne Sevya.
Yeah, it is only through Guru Parampara, through Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevya. There is no other way. No one can know by any other way. As from wood, fire can be manifested, or as butter can be churned out of milk, so also the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting of the transcendental subjects, which are specially treated in the Vedic literature like the Upanishads and the Vedanta. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the bona fide explanation of these Vedic literatures. The Lord can be realized. I have read this portion, and the entire of it is, highlighted. Not even a word to be missed. Lord can be realized through the oral reception of the transcendental message. And that is the only way to experience the transcendental subject. As fire is kindled from wood by another fire, the divine consciousness of a man can similarly be kindled by another divine grace. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ears. Very beautiful. See how poetic Srila Prabhupada has put. And this is the essence. This is the only thing which is to be done. Prabhupada says that as fire is kindled from wood from another fire, the divine consciousness of man can similarly be kindled by another divine grace. His divine grace. The spiritual master can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity. So what are we? We are wood-like living entity. By imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. But injection will only work when one has receptive ears. Therefore, one is required to approach the proper spiritual master with receptive ears only. And thus, divine existence is gradually realized. Prabhupada's words, see, thus the divine existence is gradually realized. It may be a lifetime. A lifetime is even less. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. Prabhupada is, in a way, is chastising. He is saying the difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. A human being can hear properly, whereas an animal cannot. So please read this purport few times and see how we can come to the platform of humanity. Okay. So I'll stop here. Yes, Sonika. Very promptly you had question. Boliye.
Prabhuji, you have discussed about the matter and antimatter. What is antimatter?
Very simple. Spirit. Antimatter is spirit.
Okay, Prabhuji, got it.
And antimatter. Antimatter means that is spirit. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, clear now.
Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. And tomorrow is Mokshada Ekadashi, the day of Advent of Bhagavad Gita. I don't see any scores coming from anyone. So far, none of you have given me any score. Some of it has come. Some of the devotees have done. But others haven't. So what are you waiting for? This time you don't want to do Gita distribution? What is the effort? Tomorrow will be 23rd. 23 days in this month will be over. Sonika?
Yes, Prabhuji, tomorrow actually we are going to distribute in hostels, Prabhuji.
So far it has not started.
Once I had tried, Prabhuji, once I visited the hostel and once outside also, but only 2 have gone.
No, there are 3 days, 3 big weekend. Tomorrow is Saturday, you have holiday in a year, right? Then Sunday and 25th is Christmas. Although many of the students might not be there, but whoever is there, you please try. And if possible, try to remit some Lakshmi also tomorrow. Tomorrow is very auspicious day, Moksha Ekadashi. Normally by Gita Jayanti, my 50% of the Gita was done. But this time even not even 15% is done. And out of that 15%, what maybe 20% is done. Out of 20%, 15 is done by me. If you people don't support me, then how will I be able to complete my quota? You have all been assigned your quotas, na? You have taken it voluntarily, willingly. When it comes to reciprocate in terms of service, then where is our situation? Where do we stand? Ganesh, how many books you have been distributed so far?
Three, Prabhuji. Three only.
And how much is your quota?
151.
3 in 22 days. So what you will do in next 7 days? You don't want to do? You please come out and see how much of the effort is made. We were going, so many places we saw devotees, grasta devotees, making effort to so many, outside places. It's filled. Everywhere you will see ISKCON devotees making an effort. How many hours did you spend for Bhagavad Gita distribution in this month?
प्रभु जी 3 बार गया था मैं हॉस्टल्स में किया था
क्या स्टूडेंट्स नहीं मिले?
नहीं प्रभु जी 3 ही गया था मतलब ज्यादा नहीं गया
जाते रहो तो होगा। आपकी बार सबसे पुअर परफॉर्मेंस है ही नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं है। अभी तक आप लोगों ने एक कार्टन भी गीता नहीं निकाली है कलेक्टिवली। इतने सारे यूजी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं आपके पास, नए पहले कभी थे इतने यूजी स्टूडेंट्स कभी थे ही नहीं इतिहास में, फर्स्ट टाइम मिले। तो निकलिए, अगले 3 दिन पूरा प्रयास लगाइए, लेके जाइए। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। हरे